How exactly do leaders handle criticism? So in this video, we're going to talk about how you as a leader can handle criticism. So here's the reality. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how good you actually are, you're always going to have critics chirping in your ear. Just annoying you a little bit. Just chirp, chirp. And even better, the higher you go in a company, the more that chirping intensifies. Isn't that lovely? So now you've digested that, you understand criticism is gonna happen the higher you go in a company. As soon as you become a manager, a leader, a supervisor, you're gonna start hearing it. But now that we have that out of the way, we can talk about possible solutions, because that's what leaders do best. Give me the solution, not the problem. Oh, and since we're talking about getting things out of the way, why don't you just go ahead, hit the subscribe button, and we're gonna help you, we're gonna help me, everybody's happy. All right, chop. As I was saying, let's talk about 5 ways that you can deal with criticism. The first thing you need to understand is it's not personal, even if it is. One thing about criticism is you cannot take it personally. As much as it may hurt or sting or just, it's not personal. There is no reason for you to internalize somebody else's words. There's a quote that says something like, I'm gonna butcher this. What you say says more about you than it does me. So try to keep that at the forefront of your mind when you're dealing with criticism, because that is in fact 100% true. See, a lot of the times criticism will come out of somebody else's frustrations. It has nothing to do with you. You know, think of NFL players. They're on the world's largest stage every Sunday. They've trained day in and day out. They show great athletic and mental abilities, and they're doing things that most people can only dream of doing. But on the flip side of that, you've got Joe Blow sitting at home being an armchair quarterback, trying to say how so-and-so, he should have done this, and he should have done it that way, and that guy was open. Really, man? Really? And this brings to mind another saying. The lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep. I'm guilty as everybody else, and I'm going to criticize my guys, my team, my players, go Cowboys. But why should any professional athlete be worried about what I say? And in the same way, why should you as a leader be worried about the criticisms of others? Now let's just clarify for our video, the entire video. Constructive criticism, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the little murmurs, the little bitching and moaning that happens behind your back. Sometimes it comes to you, but don't worry about it. The negative, the bitching for the sake of being heard, that's the criticisms that we are talking about today. Anyway, next up, number 2. You have to understand that it's part of the job. I touched on this briefly in point number 1, but criticism, it comes with the position that you're working. You need to expect it. Basically, when you accept the job, look at the job description, look at your title, look at your salary, and when you add those 3 things up, you should be able to figure out how much criticism you're going to be getting. And for that reason, you have to be prepared for it. Number 3, try. Try to avoid the quick reactions, the knee-jerk reactions as they call them. This is one of my personal weaknesses, because I can tend to be quick with some sharp words that will put somebody in their place, but it doesn't work to my benefit. Rarely, if ever. You really need to distance yourself with a little bit of time before you react to any criticisms or situations that arise. You're going to use this time to think about what you say and how it's really going to impact the situation. How is it really going to make it better? See, the reality is when you do a knee-jerk reaction, rarely, if ever, does it help the situation. And there's a good chance you're just making that situation worse. Remember, it's fine. Take the time. Sleep on it if you have to. Perhaps something was said and it really burns you up. In my experience, if you can hold your tongue, wait until the next day, you're going to be way less passionate about the criticism. Woosah, woosah. And now we're at number 4. You gotta face the music, buddy. Believe it or not, sometimes criticism comes to you, and it's true. I know, sucks. But being a leader means you've got to rise above the personal hurt and look at the situation and the words being said objectively. Because in doing so, you're in a great position to take corrective action. Now, here's the flip side. Maybe you don't agree with what the person is saying, and that's fine. But you have to remember that what they perceive is in fact their reality, so it does need to be addressed. So here's what's great about it. It's an opportunity to start a conversation. You have the opening to have a real discussion with this person who has something negative or critical to say about you. This conversation allows you to hear and listen and understand where they're coming from. And in doing so, perhaps you can enlighten them on something that maybe they've missed in the big picture, something they didn't understand that was going on behind the scenes. These kinds of one-on-one chats where you're open, you're listening, you're addressing a criticism that they have of you or something that you've done, these are the best ways to get employees to work with you. When there's a mutual respect and open discussion, that is a recipe for a win-win. Now here's the final thing that you need to consider. When you hear a criticism, and it comes to you more than once from different people, you definitely need to pay attention and work to fix it. Somewhere down the road, there's been a major disconnect, and as a leader, it's your responsibility to fix it, clarify it, and help everybody move on. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe so you get to watch a few more of my bite-sized informational videos that will help you as a manager become a leader. Until next time.